Hello again. This is my niece's story. Her name is Hannah. Um, she is the oldest daughter of my oldest sister. She is a victim of sexual, verbal, and physical and mental abuse. At a young age, she was forced into a cult. Um, Keep in mind, my sister was a very sick person. She mentally abused me when I was 14 and accused my family of doing unspeakable things that simply weren't true. Well, she did the same with her family. Um, she loved the attention and wanted everybody to feel sorry for her. She went around telling everyone that her kids have disabilities they don't have because people would give her attention. By doing this, the kids at school would call her names, call her retarded. She was raised in a strict Mormon family. My sister, however, convinced my niece that she was an atheist. Um, so her father would still force her to go to church. After having to be moved, she didn't find much comfort in a new school. My sister was on a lot of medications. Um, Both of her parents divorced at the age of 14. Hannah and her siblings agree that Regina, my sister, had a mental disorder called Munchausen syndrome by proxy, where mother lies about their kids saying that they are sick when they aren't for sympathy and attention. I believe personally my sister's a pathological liar, um, or was. My niece was put on Adderall at a young age, and her boyfriend at the time wanted her to convince a separate girl at school to have sex with him, which she refused to do. He physically, sexually, mentally, and emotionally abused her and raped her many times. She started cutting herself. My ex-brother-in-law would tell her to stop because it made him and my sister look like bad parents. Truth hurts. Um, she went to psych ward a few times, and her parents never truly had her back. She attempted suicide and was back in the psych ward. Her POS father would tell her that she's a disappointment and a failure. You don't tell your kids that shit. She met a dealer who she would exchange drugs for sex, and she had a miscarriage. Then she met a boy named Chris, and they moved into her mother's basement, or his mother's basement. He offered her drugs, and he proposed to her when they were drunk. She was in love with him, so she said yes. In 2019, she received a call from her sister saying that her mother was dead. She said, "That's not funny," and hung up. Soon she heard from her father asking, "Have you heard about your mother?" She eventually was able to forgive her mother because she knew that she was mentally ill. Her death, in my opinion, was fishy. My niece wanted to stop using, but her ex Chris was not on board with this. She relapsed many times and eventually moved into Montana with my younger sister. Or she's still my older sister, but she's younger than uh, Regina. In between those two, there's my brother. So I'm the youngest of four. So they smoked a lot of weed. Um, and she's just diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, which is basically bipolar schizophrenia, as well as the personality disorder, borderline, and PTSD. And so then my sister eventually kicked Hannah out, and she spent the night outside on the side of a road underneath of a tree in Montana, mind you. hoping and praying she wouldn't get mauled by a bear. In the morning, she called one of her sponsors and convinced her to go back to Arizona. And her dad got her a plane ticket, which she then went back there, got into a rehab, and got clean. She wants everyone to know that it is possible to recover. You must commit to it, and you will feel better without your mind being clouded with drugs. This is just one of many, many success stories. And there is, of course, a fair amount of information I have left out here, keeping in mind the viewing limitations of videos on YouTube.